All right, it's the end of the session. I'm here with my buddy, why did I forget your name? Alphie. And Nigel, our other buddy, he's back in the other room because we're eating. Now, basically what we're doing is we're giving him something else to do. We're calling this throne. We have the youngest member of the family is eating right now some delicious pasta, and he loves to steal food from her. And the guardians, like a lot of people, would say, no, don't do that. But that all attention's validating to the dog. So every time I go in and hassle the little one when she's eating, either I get food, which validates it, or I get attention, which validates it. So it's a win-win. I went over the leave it cue, so make sure you practice that. If you forget how to do that, message me. If I don't have it linked above, let me know and I'll link it up above or send you a video on that one. But practice the leave it. So eventually you can say, when he starts sniffing, you say leave it, he walks away and he gets rewarded for leaving it. Right now he doesn't get rewarded for leaving things, so he does not have any motivation. Now for this, what I would do is I would, without anybody eating at the table, I would just, first of all, just say throne or castle or whatever the word is you want to do. Throne, throw a treat there. He jumps up and when he jumps up on here, say yes, and then he licks up the treat. When he jumps down, do it again. Do this with about 15 or 20 treats 5 times a day. And there's for the first day, there's nobody at the table. Second day, we have maybe our little wonderful haired girl sitting at the table but not eating. And we do the same thing. Now at some point, you should be able to say throne, and he goes up here, then you would give him the treat. Now I can also, what I'm going to do here to keep him in the shot is I have bully sticks. So I can invite him up here. Yes is his marker word. And then I give him the bully stick. He's going to lay down and chew the bully stick instead of hassling or sweating for food. And so this way we're giving him something to do so he doesn't feel like he's missing out. You're supposed to stay in the shot, buddy, right over here. There you go. Sit. Yes. All right. So the more that we, so after a while, you should be able to just say thrown and he goes there, then you give him the treat. But if you get the bully stick or drill a hole through it and zip it to like a dumbbell and put it right here, he's got to stay here to chew it while she's eating a meal. Now the first step is we just throw the treat where there's nobody here. Second step was we throw the give the point where we can say thrown and he goes up here, but there's nobody here. And eventually then when she's eating a meal, we give him like a bully stick. Say thrown, he goes up here, then we give him a bully stick. Or something else to keep him occupied. So instead of him going and hassling for food and getting attention or the food, he's being rewarded for going here, and you've given him a designated place to go. After enough repetition, she starts eating, he just goes, sits up here because that's what he's been programmed to do. Not programmed, but he's in a habit of doing. Okay, we started off the session by going over marker words. If you forget how to do that, let me know, but I'd like you to go around, you guys need to make sure you mark it or load it. So walk around and say yes, treat, walk to the next room, walk over there, walk over here. So you do that with about 15 treats walking around your house. Remember, the dog doesn't have to do anything. Yes, give him a treat. I would do this with both dogs. So both dogs have the same marker word, but not together. And you could probably do it together. Just make sure yes and giving the treats like this so that the dogs are not together. The dogs have fought over items before. We didn't go over resource guarding because I don't think it's quite resource guarding. I think the guardians could just manage it by not having the dogs together when they're eating or when she's eating, only one person. I'd probably have him not here when she's eating if you're not practicing this exercise because Nigel is really not tall enough, frankly, to steal her food, and he's probably a little bit better behaved. He's the older dog. He's a puppy. He just wants what he wants. So loading that, you need to do that about 5 times for the clicker, 5 times with yes, and you just walk around the house, yes, treat. They don't have to do anything. After that, you shouldn't have to do that anymore. Now we're going to use yes when the dog does the thing we want. So he jumps up here, you say yes, and that means we're going to follow it with a treat or attention. Now, yes comes for the action. So you're going to say yes when the dog does, the instant the dog does the thing that you want, unless the thing you want has duration like potty. So for potty, we would say yes at the conclusion of potty and then give him a pet or a treat. So that way the dog knows exactly what it is we want from them. Now we also went over hand targeting, and I'll link a video to that above. If I don't, remind me after I text you or email you, and then I can add it in there. But that's a great way, so because we also talked about the positive interrupter. So he goes, he's sniffing at the cat litter. You say, he looks at you, you throw your hand down and say boop, he runs over and touches his nose to your hand. Now remember, I need you to be proactive when it comes to getting him mental exercise, enrichment, or physical exercise. Just like a child, we don't wait for them to get tired and then get them exercise. We get them the exercise proactively, sleep proactively. We need to get the dog sleep proactively. So ahead of time, and recognize before she's gonna eat, that would be a good time to take him out for a game of fetch or a walk or whatever it is, so you set the dog up for success and it's working with you as opposed to working against you. Let me see. We also went over petting, what I call manners and celebrating. And this is what one of the people in the house was not here for, so I'm going to go over this right here, and she's right over here as well. So basically, when we have little kids, we teach them manners. By essentially, when they do things that we want on their own, like they share a toy with each other, we make a big deal out of it, so they're more likely to do that. So celebrating is the same thing for dogs. So every time the dog sits, I want you to say yes and pet them under the chin. Every time they come to you, yes, look you in the eye, go to the throne, lay down, go to the kennel, pooping, drinking water, anything that's desirable. Grab a toy, yes. The more we do this, the dog knows these are things that get my attention. Remember, all attention is validating for dogs. So if we start rewarding the dog for the things that we like when the dog does them on its own without us asking, the dog's more likely to continue doing it, just like the little one's more likely to share it the next time because she got an atta girl for sharing. It will take you time and repetition of you getting in a habit of doing it. So the watchword I use is celebrate. So I'm standing here and he just jumped up and I didn't see it because I'm not doing this video. Somebody says yes, I would just say, or I would just say celebrate to me. I would say yes and pet him. Remember, the best place to pet is on the chin, on the chest, or on the two shoulders. So I don't have to see him do something. If somebody says celebrate, I'm just going to take their word for it and say yes and pet him. And after a while, he comes up here and I'll just be yes when he jumps up there on his own. I know you're going to think about it, but now every time I'm petting my dog, I'm rewarding them for something that I want. And when they do things we don't, yes, just like that. And when we do things we don't want, we use the positive interrupter, or we can say the leave it cue. But positive interrupter, and the dog looks at us, we give the hand touch or boop. He runs over and touches our hand. Then we take it for a walk or do something else. So we're not going to give attention for things we want. We're going to make sure we're mindful to give attention for the things that we do want. And the more we do that, the more the dog will do it. I've had clients whose dogs will now sit to ask for attention. If you don't start petting them, they will resit and resit and resit because in their mind, that's what gets me attention. That's a polite dog. Now, the flip side of that is teaching dogs manners. So when the dog comes up and paws at you or barks at you, it's saying, hey, I want some attention. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it isn't necessarily the politest way to ask. So when the little one here says, Mommy, I don't like the food you made me, go make me some chicken nuggets. Mom is probably going to say, would you like to ask for that again? And the little one says, Mommy, can I please have some chicken nuggets? And mom, if she has the ability to, probably will do so because she wants the child to know if you do something and ask in a polite way, you're going to get what you want. She does this in what I like to refer to as a do-over. The child demands something, the mom gives it an opportunity to redo it, and the child does it right the second time, gets a reward. So when he comes up and puts his paw on us, or barks at us, or jumps at us, we're going to say, sit, one time. If he sits, we're going to say yes and pet him on his chin. If he doesn't sit, we're going to lean back in the chair, look at our phone, play with the kid, write a song on the guitar, whatever it is you want to do. You're not going to punish the dog, but the dog does not get the reward that it's the attention it's looking for. After enough repetition, the dog's going to figure this out. Every time I paw at you for attention, you tell me to sit. And when I do sit, you say yes to let me know it's what I wanted, and then you pet me. After a while, the dog will start sitting to prepay for that attention. When it does, make sure you pet him. Otherwise, he's going to go back to doing the other thing. Now, I use the word manners as kind of a watchword. So if he's up here and he's jumped up on me and I'm not being mindful, and I watch this happen here, where he jumped up and one of the guards was just petting him, which is a good positive thing. We love petting our dogs, but now the dog's being rewarded for jumping on us. That makes the dog more likely to do it to the little ones and to knock little ones over. So if he jumps up and somebody would just say, manners, I would stop petting him, even if I did it right, tell him to sit. If he sits, I say yes and pet him under his chin. I would turn and say, I asked him to sit and you missed it because you were cooking some food, but thank you. I do forget to ask him to do things before I pet him. Now, if you want to pet him for no reason, that's fine. But if he's demanding attention, I want you to tell him to do something that you want. It could be hand targeted, it could be lay down. You only tell him once. If he does it, you reward him. If he doesn't, you go back to doing what you're doing. After a while, he now has motivation to do the things that you want, as opposed to doing the other stuff that you don't want. Let me see. So that's those are really, really powerful things if you get in a habit of doing them. Now watch the video above, because I think for him, more than anything else, is getting him more exercise and mental stimulation. I think you can achieve that daily schedule we talked about in the video above. You're going to end up with a much better behaved dog. And I would do this with both dogs, with Nigel as well. Make sure you have the kids involved for those M&Ms. And so after a while, the kids now are helping us train the dogs. The kids get a little M&M every time they do that. The other day, get 25 M&Ms. That's a great trade-off. Now the kids are doing stuff for the dog, and the dog is wanting to practicing listening to the kids. If I'm more practiced at listening to kids, I'm less likely to bump into and jump up and try to steal food from. I have a little bit more respect that I'm engendering for him. So really work on that, get that daily schedule, because I think more than anything else, that's going to be the more powerful thing. Now, if you have any questions on the stuff that we went over, please let me know. I have videos. If I don't have them linked above, message me, and I'm happy to put them in there. But, I mean, he's a smart dog. We taught him leave it in about 3 minutes. And if you practice and reinforce that, but like right now, we have little one eating. So eventually, if we practice to leave it after a week or so, then we can have her helping out. So she's eating, and we're using this as a teaching opportunity, but one of the parents is now focused on the dog, and one of the other parents is focused on the child. And we can have both of them learn the manners and to behave the way that we want them to. When it comes to dogs, hey, there you go. When it comes to dogs, all attention is validating. So a lot of us, like I said, are training them to do the things we don't want. God, I don't know why I can't remember your name.
Alphie.
Alphie. Alfonso? No, Alfie. This is Alfred. My buddy Alfred, and this is Alfred's roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, or sometimes you mean it. That's right.